So it's March 2022. I'm sitting in my basement doing some research online, okay? It's so cold that my breath is literally visible. I've got a little heater, a little space heater, one of those electric ones, trying to warm up the room to like 50 degrees, which I can't even do because it's not a finished basement, right? It's not finished, it's not heated, it's just a regular old basement, and it's March. So, of course, it's still freezing out. Now, I'm doing some research on trying to figure out how to improve my mental health, right? I'm trying to figure out how to improve my mental health, improve my life, because lately I've been suffering with this feeling of not knowing what to do with my life, anxiety, anger, a little bit of resentment sprinkled in there, a little bit of just feeling down on myself, depression, whatever. Basically, all the negative feelings that you could be feeling. That's how I was feeling, basically. Now, I was researching on how do I fix this problem, and the reason I was down in my basement was because upstairs, my mom and my younger brother and my girlfriend were up there, and it was just too hard for me to focus working in my bedroom while being distracted by hearing everybody, all this kind of stuff. It's really hard when you live with your family to kind of do that. And that was part of my depression and problem was not having my own space. So basically, in order to fix that, I moved down into the basement to try to have my own office space and to work on my side business at the time, but whatever. Anyway, so I ended up learning about this course called The Science of Well-Being, right, by Yale University. And I started this course, I clicked on it, and little did I know that it was going to basically completely change my life forever. And so in this video, I want to share with you what I learned in that course that helped me improve my mental health. I want to share with you kind of what worked for me, what didn't work for me. And at the end, I want to give you a bonus tip about something that they didn't talk about within the course, surprisingly, but that is really important if you want to succeed, especially as a young man in these modern times, that you're going to need to know. So the first thing that they told me to do within the course was this thing called gratitude journaling. Now, gratitude journaling, if you don't know what it is it's the practice of being thankful. It's the practice of looking around in your life right now, and despite all the shit you're going through, finding something to be grateful for. And this really helped me because back in 2019, okay, basically my life kind of fell apart in the sense of my family fell apart. My mom got sick. Then she and my stepdad got divorced, and the house that we were living in kind of fell to me. That's how I ended up with the house, was they couldn't really handle it. And so I ended up being the one to take over the mortgage. And I was going to community college at the time, dropped out of there to work full time and kind of take over the household. Now, this caused me a lot of stress, especially because right after that, COVID all of a sudden came out of nowhere. Like, it was 2020, and then all of a sudden COVID came out of nowhere. Everyone was running around, freaking out. You remember what it was like. And so this period from 2019 to 2022 was really stressful for me. There was a lot of things going on with my family and trying to figure things out. And it really took a toll on my mental health, to be honest with you. And by the way, I was working a job that I just really didn't like and had to deal with a lot of customers and having to wear masks and all that shit. So yeah, mental health was not doing well at the time. But what gratitude journaling did was it helped me to reframe not only my current circumstances and find the good within my current circumstances, but also during those dark times, those dark years that, I had been going through, it helped me find instances and moments where I could really appreciate and understand that life wasn't so bad. And so that's what gratitude journaling can do for you. If you're feeling like a sense of resentment or you're feeling like life just sucks for you, there's always a way to find that shred of light to actually be grateful for something or thankful for something. And what I found works best for me, this just works best for me, is like, instead of being like, every day writing down on a notebook, because that's what you do every single day, write something down on a notebook that you're grateful for, okay? Instead of being like, oh, I'm grateful for this pen, I'm grateful for, this water bottle. It's like, or like, I'm grateful for, like, I think one time I wrote down, I'm thankful for clean drinking water or something. It's like, bro, shut up, bro. You don't even know what it's like to not have clean drinking water. You're not like, you know what I mean? Like, you're basically just like faking it and coming up with shit so that you can get the exercise done. That's basically what I was doing. And so I ended up finding this new way of doing it where it was like, instead of thinking so much about the material object, I would think more about the experiences and the people and kind of maybe what I achieved that day. So for example, I'm grateful today I was able to wake up and get some exercise in at the gym. And the whole point of that is for you to think about it and to actually get the feeling from being grateful. It's not just to make a list and write shit down that you're grateful for. It's to actually get the feeling of gratitude. And so for me, it works much better when I think about experiences and people and things that I've done as opposed to just an object. And that's just what works for me. So for another example would be like, instead of being like, oh, I'm grateful for this water bottle or I'm grateful for my car. It's like, for me, I think more about like, hey, I'm grateful for that time. I went, me and my friends, we went up to the mountains in Vermont and went skiing. We had just an amazing day. And I think, and I can imagine and relive that experience and just feel all the feelings of like the fun time we had, going up and down like on the chairlifts and stuff like that. And that is a reimagined experience that really gives me that sense of feeling. And I can pull a lot more in terms of feeling grateful and thankful for that experience. So if you feel like it's kind of fake or forced, try that experiences, whether it's a past experience or just something that you achieved today that you can be grateful for, something that you did today, or just a certain person that you're thinking about and recall a certain experience that you had with them that made you grateful. And for me, that seems to work a lot better. And I actually really do get that feeling of gratitude, which is really helpful. The second thing that you want to focus on that I was taught was meditation. Now, a lot of us struggle with meditation, and a lot of people say it doesn't work for me, and I've tried this as well as it's difficult. But really, you have to understand what the purpose of meditation even is in the first place. Meditation isn't just a practice that you do just to do it in the moment. It is a way of retraining your brain to enjoy and to savor and be aware of the present moment. Meaning, instead of having a conversation with somebody, instead of talking to your mom or your friends and be thinking about video games or be thinking about something else, you're actually in the moment enjoying that conversation with them. Instead of being outside and being out hiking and thinking about going back home and, playing video games or thinking about stuff that you need to get done, you're actually enjoying nature and you're actually seeing nature for what it is. That is the entire purpose of meditation, is it helps you become more present, at least the meditation I'm talking about. It helps you become more present in the moment so you can actually enjoy life around you again. So that you're not so focused on the future and so focused on living for tomorrow that you don't, remember to enjoy today. So this really helped me because during those years, 2019 to 2022, and even to this day, there's many times where I lose sight of life, right? I start living for tomorrow. I start thinking about, how am I going to get out of this job? Or how am I going to do this with my life? How am I going to, get rid of this house so I can get my own apartment? How am I going to, there's so many different things, my mom, my younger brother, how am I going to deal with like my family situation? There's so many things that you start to think about in life that you're struggling with that sometimes you just forget to enjoy the present moment. And so meditation is just simply about, bro, all you got to do is literally sit down for 5 minutes. I just want you to sit down for 5 fucking minutes. Turn off your phone, okay? Sit down for 5 minutes a day and just sit there with your thoughts. And as you notice yourself starting to drift away and start thinking about other things, just bring your attention back to the present moment. That's all you're doing. It's that simple. And just do it for 5 minutes. It will go by like that. It'll be so quick. And this will teach you, and it will start to train your brain to enjoy the present moments throughout your day so that you aren't living for tomorrow. Because when you live for tomorrow, your days go by so fast, bro. If you're constantly thinking about being somewhere else, doing something else, and you're in the present moment, you're not enjoying it, your day goes by so fast. So a trick to literally slow down time and slow your life down and enjoy it more, which improves your mental health, improves all these things that we're trying to get away from, all these bad feelings and thoughts, is meditation. And again, this is not something I'm perfect at. In 2022, I started to do it, and it's one of the reasons why I was able to get through that situation. I ended up deciding to sell the house, and we decided to sell the house, and we got that done. Part of why I was able to focus was because of the meditation practice. Now, throughout 2023, I also was staying consistent with it towards the end, and I kind of faltered off. But 2024, coming back strong, I've learned a lot of new things about how to stay consistent with these habits over a long period of time. So meditation, don't sleep on it. Don't think that it's something that isn't necessary, because it really is if you're struggling. And I mean, the battle with mental health and these bad feelings is always there, right? It always can come back if you start doing the wrong things. Hold on one second. I'm grateful for that sip of water, I'll tell you that. All right, so the third thing is exercise. So if you're a young man right now and you're not exercising, you should be ashamed of yourself, bro. Shame on you, bro. Shame, shame, shame. There's no excuse for you not to be exercising at this point in time. And the reality is, exercise has been shown to be more effective than antidepressant pills. Let me say that again. Exercising daily has been shown to be more effective than antidepressant pills, antidepressant medication. So if you're someone right now who feels anxious, who feels depressed, you're a young guy, there's no excuse for you not to be out there exercising every single day. Now, I wish I had known this because, or I wish I had known the importance of this because back in 2019, I started to exercise, okay? I started exercising in the sense of going to the gym and lifting weights. I'd always been a pretty active kid overall. You know, I wasn't like this overweight kid. I was actually more really on the skinny side. But I'd always been kind of active, but never intentional with my exercise routine. And so 2019, me and my friends started going to the gym. We started lifting, and I was really enjoying it. You know, I was making progress. I was seeing some gains, some muscle gains. I was like, all right, all right. You know, I'd gone into college, so I was like, all right, this is gonna help. This is gonna help. You know, it's definitely gonna help with the girls and everything. And I got in there, and I stayed pretty consistent with it for 3 months. But after that, guess what happened? COVID. And when COVID happened, they shut the gyms down, first of all. So I was like, all right, well, we can't go to the gyms. And then after that, they were like, all right, we're going to reopen, but you have to wear a mask. And bro, when I work out, I go hard. I'm not wearing a fucking mask. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. I literally feel like I'm suffocating. So for me, it wasn't worth it. However, over the next 2 years, between 2019 and 2022, I wish I had known, or 2020 and 2022, I wish I had known more about calisthenics and body weight training, right? Because I could have been at home doing more push-ups, doing pull-ups, doing sit-ups. So if you're someone who can't access the gym right now, don't do what I did. Don't just completely stop. Because all I was basically doing was going on walks and hikes. And yeah, that's great and everything, but that's not going to help you build muscle mass. Is what you need as a young guy. You need to become a man who has a muscular frame. Okay? That's 100% necessary. There's no excuse not to do that. So that being said, I wish I had known about calisthenics, like doing push-ups, pull-ups, crunches, you know, handstands, all this kind of stuff. You can do that. You don't need a fucking gym. You can literally do that from home, and you should be doing it every single day. Alternatively, if you do have a gym, go to the gym. Or if you got a home gym, use your home gym. Okay? So there's a lot of different ways you can do this, but every single day you should be doing some kind of exercise, and every other day you should definitely be doing some sort of weight training as a younger guy. You know, on your off days, maybe, so say like on a Monday, you do some weight training, whether that's at home calisthenics or weightlifting at home, or you go to the gym and you weightlift. Then maybe the next day what you do is you go on a run or you do a walk or something. But our ancestors, and a lot of guys are, oh, overtraining, bro, overtraining. You can't train every day. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, bro. Get the hell out of here with that. What are you talking about? Our ancestors literally would be like running for miles every day to try to hunt freaking food, and like you're out here saying you can't fucking get off your ass for literally half an hour every day and go train? Nah, I'm not accepting that. I'm not accepting that. Every single day, some form of exercise. For me, what I do is I go to the gym, and then on the days that I don't do that, you know, I'll either walk, go on a run, and or do like martial arts and stuff. So there's no reason not to be exercising every day, considering the fact that it will benefit your mental health in so many different ways, and your physical health, and just literally every aspect of your life. And this is why I'm so big on it, big on like talking about like the gym, and guys, get in the gym, start working out. It'll change your life. Because November 2021, I started going to the gym, and then literally 4 months later, I found this Science of Wellbeing course. Is that kind of a coincidence? But I believe personally that me going into the gym and kickstarting my self-improvement journey, kickstarting my self-development journey, opened up my mind to be able to receive the information that I'm sharing with you here today. I literally believe that me doing that and forcing myself into being more disciplined, forcing myself into actually being intentional about my life and stop being such a bitch, allowed the universe to send me the right information. And so this is why I'm so passionate about talking about the gym, because it literally, I believe, November 2021, the day I went back into the gym and I got serious about this, I believe changed my life forever. Forever. I know it did, and it will continue to. So from that day forward, I've stayed consistent going to the gym, and I built the physique that I have today that I'm proud of. And yes, it's taken a couple years, but a couple years is going to go by in a blink of an eye anyways. You might as well have a great physique at the end of it, right? And and then March 2022, I found this course and basically went to work on my mental health. And so I was doing my mental and physical at the same time, and that's what you need. You need the combination of both. So hopefully that convinces you of the benefits of exercise. And by the way, just to throw this in there as a younger guy, because this is what young guys care about, it absolutely will help you attract more women. And if you're in a relationship right now, say you have a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, it will 100% guaranteed to make her more attracted to you. Okay, let me just say that. So I started to definitely notice some benefits there. All right, number 4 is going to be getting proper sleep. So this is kind of one of those things where it's like I always talk about it, but I also struggle with it, and it's one of those things where like I can't. It's so hard to stay consistent with. But proper sleep is basically like eating or breathing. If you don't have that in check, that's the difference between you being successful and being a failure. I want you to imagine waking up every single day, what it's like when you wake up every single day when you haven't gotten enough sleep. If you feel like shit, right? You wake up, you're groggy, you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to go do anything, you have no inspiration or motivation. Then think about those days when you wake up and you've had an amazing night's sleep. Think about how hyped you are. Like how hyped you are. You wake up, your eyes are just like, whoa. You just like wake up and you like get out of bed. You just get up, you get moving. Imagine being like that every single day, and imagine that stacking over a year, how much success you would have in terms of reaching your potential and achieving your goals. Imagine that, bro. Insane success. So having sleep is like putting gas into a car. It will literally just accelerate you like insane. Especially if you're a guy who's in the gym and lifting, like doing the weightlifting or calisthenics or whatever, like I just told you you should be doing. Having enough sleep will fuel your gains. You will make more muscle gains that way by getting enough sleep. And if you don't get enough sleep, it will subtract from your gains, right? And it will make you feel worse. So when you're asleep, your body recovers. Your body like rebuilds itself essentially, right? It heals itself. And so sleep is super important. For me, I need about 8 hours, to be honest with you. Like 7 hours just doesn't really cut it. I just don't feel that great. So for you, you got to experiment and find how many hours you need per night. Like 7 hours, 8 hours. Okay, somewhere in there. Experiment with those because those are the most common ranges. And the way you know you got a good night's sleep is you wake up in the morning and you just feel awake. Your eyes open up. You're not turning over and trying to get back under the covers. You're not trying to reach over and turn off your alarm or jump up out of bed and turn off your alarm and then jump back into bed. You wake up and you feel awake and alert. That's how you know you got a good night's sleep. When you figure out, or when you have one of those days, write down when you went to bed and when you woke up and set an alarm for going to bed and waking up in the morning and repeat that. Make it a habit. Do it for 30 days. Make that a habit. That's what I'm doing right now. And I got a habit tracker on my wall that also keeps track of when I went to bed and when I woke up so that I stay consistent. So yeah, proper sleep, you cannot do without it. And a lot of people, what happens is they sacrifice their sleep. They will sacrifice their sleep because they think it's more important to get something on their to-do list done, including myself. You know, like, for example, the other night, a couple nights ago, I stayed up late trying to achieve something and complete a task for, working on my business. But what's hilarious about that is the next morning, you're going to suffer from that and you're going to have worse performance the next day. So it makes more sense for you to go to sleep, get the sleep you need so that you can wake up in the morning and work in the next day and be more efficient and get more done. It's not worth trying to stretch it out at night where you're barely operational. You're like half asleep and you're trying to fucking get work done. It's just not going to work, bro. So just forget about it. Just get proper sleep. Take it seriously. Take it as seriously as you do any of these habits because it's no less important. If anything, it's more important. A lot of people have depression and anxiety and all this crap because they get 5 hours of sleep every fucking night and they're living on caffeine every morning. America runs on Dunkin'. Yeah, it's literally true, bro. America does run on Dunkin' because nobody knows how to fucking get enough sleep. All right, sleep rant over. Next, this is going to be a hard one, and you might not want to listen to me on this, but it is true, and you can do the research yourself if you don't believe me. Stop being such a materialistic guy. Stop always trying to get the latest car, the latest watch, the latest clothes, the biggest house. And I know you see these guys all over social media flexing all their shit. You got the Andrew Tates of the world. You got all these guys out here flexing their fucking 20,000 watches they have, their 10 cars, their giant mansions. But the reality is this: when it comes to mental health and actually caring about your mental health, being a materialistic person and chasing those material things is actually going to lead you to a worse position mentally. The reason for this is something called hedonic adaptation, which is essentially as if you imagine, say you buy a new computer, okay? Let's say you buy a new computer, bring it into your room, and it's like, wow, this is so amazing, bro. Like, I love this computer. You use it for a week, 4 weeks go by, and then it's like it just becomes normal. Or you buy a new phone, right? You buy a new phone, like you buy the newest iPhone or you buy the newest Samsung or whatever, the Galaxy. Oh, this is so cool, bro. And then 4 weeks in, it's just like any other phone you've ever had. That's called hedonic adaptation. It's because the thing that you have, it doesn't ever change. It's the same, right? So your brain gets used to it because it's the same. It never goes away. It's just sitting there every single day. It's the same thing. So your brain gets used to it. On top of this, I've heard many people say this firsthand, that when they buy expensive things, they get worried about them being stolen, scratched, broken into. And so that adds another burden on top of what you're already dealing with in terms of your mental health, because now you're thinking about your stuff and having to take care of your stuff and being worried about your stuff. And you've got so much stuff that your brain is split into all these different things, like thinking about it. And so that negatively affects your mental health, especially if something does happen that makes you feel bad. So unless you're a guy right now who's rich and you have great mental health and you seem like you can go out and buy all the cars and everything that you want, then go ahead and do that. But if you're watching this video, that's clearly not you, because you clicked on this video. And so you really need to focus more on what's called experiences, right? So there's materialism, and then there's experiences. So focus more on experiences, because experiences, what's interesting about those is they actually improve your mental health long term. Why? Because it's not a material thing that you can hold and hang on to, right? It goes away, and all that's left is a memory. All that's left are the feelings that you had on that vacation. For example, for some of you who watch the channel, last year in 2023 in September for my birthday, we went to Thailand. And that trip was a life-changing trip that I will never forget. I will never forget that trip, bro. I won't ever forget it, because it's an experience. When I think back to it, I think of, all the times we got lost. I think of, all the times that, we had insane trials and tribulations trying to transport across the country, hopping on airplanes, hopping on ferries. Like, those are all memories that I will have forever. Being on the beach, like, I will never forget those. And anytime I think about them, it's something that brings me joy and fulfillment and happiness. Versus if I had spent that money on a car or a phone or something like that, yeah, I would have been happy for the short term, for the first week or so, but then it would have just become like anything else in life. So if you're a guy right now who's spending a lot of your money on material things, trying to fill that void because you have bad mental health and your feelings and thoughts are not good, focus right now more on experiences. So going on vacations, visiting new countries, going just out to eat with your family members, with your girlfriend, or dates or whatever, depending on like your status and stuff, hanging out with friends, doing events. These things will give you lasting memories that will actually aid your mental health. Versus spending all this money and stuff on material items will subtract from it. Now, that being said, I don't know right now, if I'm ever gonna like not have like a nice car or a big house or something. I'm not sure about that right now. I'm just talking about from the perspective of if you have bad mental health right now, and for those of us who aren't rich, right? I mean, America is a very car-centric culture, and we don't have great public transportation. Like when I was in Thailand, it was like, bro, I wouldn't even need a car living here, which is weird because it's supposedly, a not so developed country compared to the United States. But our public transportation here just quite honestly sucks. So we all kind of have to have a car. And then a lot of us want to be getting more and more expensive cars because it's a sign of status and you think you're going to get more attention from girls and all this kind of stuff. So without getting into that whole conversation, let's just say focus more on getting experiences versus focusing on materialism. Okay, especially if you're struggling with your mental health. And this is probably going to be something that I focus on even long term. Even if I was rich, I probably would just be focusing on getting in some amazing fucking top tier experiences, right? Like for example, even think about this. This is interesting. Even if you were say I even had the money to buy a Lambo, okay, which I don't. If I had the money to buy a Lambo, what if I just rented the Lambo and got the experience of that? And then since it's just an experience that in my memory, maybe that would be better than owning a Lambo, because maybe renting the Lambo would be an experience that I remembered and I could recall that and it would bring me these good feelings, versus if I had the Lambo, I'd have all the negative effects of having to worry about it, all the maintenance and upkeep, worrying about it getting scratched and everything, and then getting used to it. So that's another thing I just thought of, is like maybe what you can do is you can actually use your wealth and your money to rent things temporarily that give you the experience and the memory, and then let them go. So that's just another idea. I don't know. I'll try that when I get rich. I'll come back to this video and I'll be like, oh, that was actually like a good idea, bro. You actually had a good idea. So yeah, basically that's the idea. Okay, those are the 5 things that you can do right now to massively improve your mental health and get rid of all these negative feelings and thoughts that you have. I'm gonna give you the bonus tip though, because if you stayed around from the beginning, then you remember I said there was going to be a bonus tip at the end of the video. Most people have clicked off way long time ago. So for those of you who are still here, you are the most dedicated, people who are really relentless in chasing your potential. So yeah, I congratulate you, and let's talk about the bonus tip. So in this course, for some reason, they didn't mention this. They touched on it, but they didn't really get too into it, which was interesting to me. But I'm going to get into it because it's really important. And I think that without this tip, you will not succeed in any of this. It's really important that with all these habits I just mentioned, they're very healthy. They will change your life completely. But there's one thing that you need to understand, and that is if you do not do what's called a dopamine detox, if you do not eliminate your bad habits, you won't actually succeed at this. So a lot of us guys deal with the internet addiction, which is basically four main things: binge watching Netflix, hours of video games, scrolling on social media, and jacking off to porn. Those are the four components, the four pillars of the internet addiction. Now, there's substance addiction like weed, alcohol, junk food, caffeine, those kind of things. But the internet addiction is the most insidious, in my opinion. And what's really important for you to do is, as you employ these healthy habits, the gratitude journaling, the meditation, the less money being spent and more money on experiences, the exercise, the sleep, that you slowly replace your bad habits with these good habits. If you try to continue to do the internet addiction while also having these good habits, it won't work as well, bro. It won't work. In fact, it won't work at all, because what happens is your brain prefers the reward from your bad habits. So your brain prefers to go watch porn and play video games and scroll on social media and binge watch Netflix than to go do gratitude journaling and meditation and exercise. Obviously, it's like, bro, what the fuck are these like healthy habits? I don't give a shit about that. Let me go get to the fun stuff. So your brain will always get a bigger reward from those things. So you have to cut those things out in order to really get the benefit from these things here. Okay? Let me say that again. You have to cut out the bad habits in order for you to get the benefits of what I just talked about. Because a big reason why your mental health is shit right now is because of the fact that you're still doing all those bad habits. And this is why I didn't understand in 2022 after I watched this course, was that I didn't employ all the rest of the dopamine detox, which they didn't talk about in the course. This is like the one thing that they're missing. I was like, bro, what the fuck? They didn't talk about the dopamine detox, which is basically you need to get rid of the bad habits. If you don't get rid of the bad habits and you're still doing the bad habits, you're not even going to want to do the good habits, because your brain isn't going to have the motivation to do them because it's being drained by all these negative things. So pick the worst bad habit you have right now, whether that be like a substance thing like junk food, caffeine, alcohol, weed, or it be the internet addiction, right? Whether it be porn, video games, binge watching Netflix, social media. I don't know what you're addicted to. Okay, I don't know. But those are the 8 major addictions to watch out for. So pick the one that is affecting you the worst in terms of your mental health. And I want you to do what's called the dopamine detox, which basically means for 30 days, you are not going to get any dopamine from that activity. So for 30 days, you are not going to get any dopamine from playing video games. You're going to quit video games for 30 days. Completely. For 30 days, you are not going to watch any porn. Completely. And instead, what you're going to do is you're going to cut that addiction out and you're going to replace it with all these good habits. If you do that, your life will 100% change. I can guarantee you, bro. I can guarantee you, because it literally happened to me. If you don't want to do it, then you're not serious about improving your mental health, and you shouldn't have watched this video because you're just fucking wasting your time. So that's the reality of the situation. Dopamine detox is 100% necessary for all these things to work. Without that, you're not really going to be able to stay consistent. I tried to do it. I tried to maintain my social media YouTube addiction, watching YouTube every fucking minute of the day and scrolling on Instagram and, binge watching Netflix, playing video games here and there, porn here and there while doing these habits, and it doesn't work. It just does not work. It won't work, because the whole idea of these habits is that they replace the bad habits. That's the whole idea, is you're replacing these bad habits, which are the major cause of your depression and anxiety. Even if you don't want to admit it, I know you're going to be offended by this because I'm attacking your addiction, but it's the facts. The main cause of your depression and anxiety are these bad habits. And so the idea is for you to replace them with the good habits. And if you do that, your life changes. But you can't do it all at once. It's not going to happen in one day. That would be completely unrealistic, and I wouldn't expect that to happen. This is a process that takes time, and for me, it's taken years in order for me to actually stay consistent and all this stuff and messing up and everything. So dopamine detox, really important. Pick the most important or the most horrible, disgusting addiction that you have that causes you the most problems in your life, and take a 30-day dopamine detox. That's what they call a dopamine detox, from that habit, from that addiction, and replace it with these habits right here. If you do that, your life is going to completely change. Now, the last thing I want to mention to you is the other reason why I couldn't stay consistent in 2022 was that that was the year that I was also selling the house. So towards the end of the year, I decided we're going to sell the house. We agreed to sell the house, and we went our separate ways just because it was a small space. And then me, my girlfriend, my younger brother, and my mom living in there, like, bro, we were just getting into arguments, and like there was not enough space, and me and my girlfriend needed to move out on our own and get our own place. So we ended up selling the house. Now, the thing about that was during that time, it was hard for me to stay consistent with these habits because I wasn't doing the dopamine detox. If I was doing the dopamine detox and I wasn't doing any of my other bad habits, I would have been able to stay consistent with these and make a lot more progress in my life. So now in 2024, I'm getting super serious and super locked in with the dopamine detox and employing all these habits. And I've got all these new systems and habit trackers and things that I have up to actually keep me consistent. So that's one of the things I got to tell you about the dopamine detox is that's why it's so important. The other thing is that the other reason why I wasn't able to stay consistent in 2022 towards the end was because I didn't have other people to share the journey with. There was no one else doing this. Who the fuck else is talking about dopamine detox? I've never even heard anyone talk about that except on the internet. I've literally never ever heard of anyone say anything about dopamine detox besides being people on the internet. And I've never heard anyone talk about like mental health or barely anything like that in my life and in my family. No one's ever even mentioned it. So it's not common knowledge. This is more like esoteric, secret knowledge to help you level up in life fast. And the thing about it is there is power in having people around you who are doing the same thing. You become like the people that you're around. And so for me, I needed to be around other people who I could share this with. And I also needed to have someone to guide me to do the right things and have the right systems so that I wouldn't fuck up. So if you want that help, if you want my help to coach you and to help you actually employ this in a way where you're not going to fuck up and try to do it on your own and it's going to take a long time, click the link in the description because I got my self-improvement coaching you can join. I've got videos on there and stuff. We do group calls. You can talk to me and ask me questions. And we got the group chat where you can meet other people who are doing the same thing. If you want to do that, it will change your life. If not, that's okay. You can go on your own and attempt to do this. But even if you succeed at actually having this system and actually doing it, having all the good habits and getting rid of all your old habits, it's a lonely journey because there's no other people around you who are doing it. So it's like, that's what I realized. It's like, what even is even like the point? Like, I need other people to do this with. So if you're looking for that and you want that, then click the link in the description because that's what I offer. All right. Well, that was probably one of the longest videos I've ever made. Hopefully it'll be useful to you in curing your mental health and just your life in general. Because I know that if I had this system back in 2019, my life would have been completely different. So that's basically it, bro. Stay relentless on your journey to leveling yourself up. Ignore the haters. Don't let people bring you down. Don't let people shit talk you about, oh, why are you doing these weird habits? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, what? You can't come drink with us? Blah, blah. Fuck them, dude. Just stay on your journey. Keep going. Keep growing. And that's basically all I got for you today. We'll see you next time. Peace.